Hello everyone, welcome back to part 3 to our How to Make a Flyer series here with the Digital Den mini classes, where we show you how to make a flyer on 5 different programs. We've talked about Microsoft Word and Microsoft Publisher, and today we are going to be tackling Google Docs. The interesting thing about this one is that you can access it from anywhere completely for free. There's no extra subscription stuff, that's the cool thing about Google Docs. So without further ado, let's go ahead and jump into it and see how it stacks up against Microsoft Word and Microsoft Publisher and find out which will make the best flyer. Hello everyone and welcome back to another Digital Den mini class. Today is part 3 for our How to Make a Flyer series, and the way that we're going to be doing this is using what's called Google Docs. If you are not familiar with that, it is something that you can get completely for free using your Google account or your Gmail account. What you may not realize is that by creating a Gmail account, you actually are allowed to be able to utilize many of Google's just individual services that they have available here. If you click on the 9 dots in the top right-hand corner of the page, once you're logged into Google, you can actually scroll through here and you can see all of the things that are available. Google Drive is an online storage space. Google Docs is what we're going to be talking about today. And this is a document sharing service. So if you need to make a resume or a cover letter or anything like that, this is a great place to be able to do it. And the advantage of using Google products is that when you log in on your personal computer and you do whatever you want on Google Docs, you don't have to have your personal computer ever again to be able to access these. As long as you can log into your Google account or your Gmail account, they're the same thing. You can access any of your Google files, okay? One day I would like to do a deeper dive into Sheets, Slides, and even Google Forms someday soon, so stay tuned for those. But today let's talk about Google Docs. We're going to click on that, and here is what we are going to see. You're going to see all your recent documents here. As you can see, I've got quite a few. If we scrolled through all of these here, I use Google Docs all the time. It's like my favorite. I am constantly bouncing back and forth between many different computers here at the Kokomo-Howard County Public Library, and because of that, being able to log into a Google account and access all my files is really cool. So that's why I like it so much. But let's see how it stacks up when it comes to comparing it to Microsoft Word and Microsoft Publisher for making a flyer. So let's click on the template gallery up here in the top right, and let's see what all we have here. So we've got resumes here. Like I mentioned, you can make a resume that looks pretty nice on here. Different letters, a variety of business letters and formal letters and informal letters. Some personal documents here and a lot of other work-related projects as you continue to scroll through these template options here. The one I use the most is I just use the blank one. But since we have a newsletter right here that has a heart on it and is laid out in such a way that looks like something that we could turn a flyer into, we're going to click on that. Unfortunately, there is no option on here that physically says flyer, right? In the top left-hand corner, you're going to see the name of the project. And since we chose a template, it is just calling itself newsletter. But I'm going to change that name so that whenever I come back and I want to access this file later, I'll be able to recognize it a little bit better, right? So I'm going to call it Valentine's Day Party. Okay, I'll call it that. And then let's go ahead and get started editing here. So we are going to be adding all of the exact same stuff as we have done with Microsoft Publisher and Word. So the first thing that we need to do is we need to change the title so that it says Valentine's Day Party. Okay, so Valentine's Day Party. All right, perfect. So we've got that on there, and now we need to get rid of the speech or the text that we don't want. We've got this lorem ipsum dolor, all this garbage here. So let's go ahead and get rid of all this. This is something that you may have seen before. It is something that a lot of programs will use to show you what text will look like in a certain space without it meaning anything, basically, right? So since this is a newsletter and not a flyer, you'll notice that it comes on to multiple pages. But why don't we just highlight everything on the second page here and backspace. And there we go. We have now dropped down to just the one page. Okay. So now we need to create a themed background. Well, with Google Docs, you don't really put stuff in the background, but we can create a themed image that we can replace this random one here with. So let's go ahead and insert image, upload from computer. And I'm going to go ahead and pull up, oh man, I have so many folders. There we go. A picture that I found that I think is perfect for our little Valentine's Day party. So we got a little bit of a variety here, a little bit of difference from the last two since I used the same picture on the first ones. All right, so we've got our Valentine's Day themed adorable dog here. And we're down here since it's got the date here. Let's go ahead and put the date and time there. So we're going to say 7 p.m. to 9 p.m. on February 14th. Okay. All right. And then we've got that little break here that was already included. So that's nice. Now, all we have left here is we need the address and we need to let everybody know it's a BYOB, a bring your own buddy or bring your own beagle party, right? So let's say BYOB, bring your own buddy. And we are going to increase the size of this text here, okay? So the way that we're going to do that is we're going to come up here and if you're familiar with Microsoft Word or Microsoft Publisher, I mean, gosh, I mean, a lot of these, document editing programs, they handle text in a very similar way. So what I can do is I can click on this drop down here and I can change the sizing to be something more of like a heading 1 or a heading 2. We'll switch to heading 2 there and you'll notice that it changes the font size over here. If I'd like to adjust it and make it bigger, I can click the plus. If I'd like to adjust it and make it smaller, I can click the minus. 20 is a nice size there. I think that that's quite large enough for us to be able to understand all that. There's a big variety of font options that we have available here. So let's click on this playful affair, play fair display. That's fun. And if one of the fonts has an arrow next to it, you can see a couple of different options available for those. So we've got normal, we've got whatever that one was, medium, semi-bold, bold, extra bold, and black. So like it increases a little bit more in boldness depending on how far you go down. Okay, medium is perfectly fine for us. If we wanted it to be more bold, we could click on the bold option there. Italics and underline, of course, you're familiar with those. Let's change the coloring there. Let's go ahead and change that to red. So that we can, stick with the Valentine's Day theme. If we wanted to add a highlight color, we could do that. So if I wanted, say, for example, to add, let's see, purple as our highlight color, we could do that. Oh, didn't mean to do that. I don't really like the highlight color, to be honest with you, but it is there. So if you wanted to add one, you could. And if you wanted to get rid of it, the none option is available there on the bottom. Okay. If you wanted to insert a link, you could do that with that. Comments are mostly for other people because the nice thing about Google Docs is that you can share them with other people as long as they have a Gmail account. Well, I guess even if they don't, they just won't be able to edit it. And then those people can add comments on there to be like, yeah, you should change this, that sort of thing. We can change the alignment over here, the line in the paragraph, lots of standard stuff all across the top here. We've got lots of insert options here. If you'd like to be able to generate tables, you could add some more images and drawings and charts and different things like that, but that doesn't really help us for making a flyer. Okay. And I don't think that we're going to need any of those either. Okay. Perfect. So we've got that. And now we just need to tell everybody what the address is. location. Well, let's actually throw the address up here. Date and time. Oh, let's move this down a little bit by clicking that and dragging it. Ooh. Having a little bit of a difficult time organizing how I would like for this to look. There we go. That wasn't so bad. Location. And we want it to say KHCPL star branch. We don't have a star branch, but that's just to reinforce that this is a fake sample party. As fun as a bring your own buddy party would be, maybe in a future time. Okay, all right, so we have got the BYOB, we've got the location, we've got the date and time, we've got the title. It also says HeartWorks Weekly Digest up here, which we don't need, so we'll just say Kokomo-Howard County Public Library. There we go. All right, so that is pretty much everything that we really needed for this very basic flyer here. Does it look amazing? No. Does it look terrible? No. I mean, it gives everything that we needed, just not in a particularly flashy way. So taking this flyer that we have here, let's go ahead and I'm just zooming in and out on my computer. I like to do that sometimes to be able to get a better look at something. And you can zoom in and out, fun fact, with control and then the scrolling up or down on the mouse wheel there. Okay. All right. Anyway, let's go ahead and take a look at how this program stacks up against the other options that we've already talked about, Microsoft Word and Microsoft Publisher, and see which one we think overall is so far the best program at making a flyer. All right, we have figured out how to make a flyer with Google Docs, but how does it rank against Microsoft Word and Publisher? Let's go ahead and find out. Starting things off with difficulty. I gotta tell you, Microsoft Word is pretty easy, but I think that Google Docs might even be a little bit easier when it comes to navigating how to be able to maneuver through all the materials and font options and text placement and things like that in Google Docs. But I will dock it a couple of points because Microsoft Word did have the template options for flyers. Google Docs does not have that, so we're going to give it a 6 out of 10 overall for difficulty. On to time spent. This was one of our shorter ones. I gotta tell you, Google Docs, since it's so easy to be able to maneuver throughout the program, doesn't really take that long to be able to put things together. And because of that, our time spent is way low. So let's give that a high score. We're gonna give that an 8 out of 10 for time spent, which puts it ahead of both Microsoft Word and Microsoft Publisher in that category. And finally, on to looks. Does Google Docs have the best looking flyer? Not even a little bit. It is easy to see that the potential with Microsoft Publisher and Microsoft Word is higher than what can be done in Google Docs. So because of that, we're going to have to give it a pretty low score for that. So we're going to give the looks category a 3 out of 10 for Google Docs. Can you make a flyer that's going to work for you in Google Docs? 100%. The nice thing about it, of course, is that it's not something that's going to take you that long to put together, and it's something that even if you're not at all familiar with Google Docs, you're probably going to be able to stumble your way through it pretty easily. So the ease of use and the time spent are definitely what you're going to be going for there with Google Docs. But I do want to give Google Docs some bonus points for accessibility. Google Docs is the only product that we will be talking about here that is incredibly accessible to anyone. You do not have to pay for anything. Not that you have to pay for Microsoft Word here at the Kokomo-Howard County Public Library, but you don't even have to come to the library to be able to utilize Google Docs. All you need is a Google account, which of course is free, and because of that, you get access to every single thing. You don't have to subscribe to a service like the next two products that we're going to be talking about, Adobe Spark and Canva. It's just free. So a couple of bonus points for accessibility there, bumping up the score a little bit on that. And so if you want to make a flyer in Google Docs, that's how you would do it, and all the power to you. So a couple of closing notes for Google Docs. This is a great tool for being able to share with coworkers and friends. If you are putting together a document, it doesn't have to be a flyer, but whether it be a resume, something professional, or even just a document where you're just brainstorming ideas for a personal creative project. You can write down a bunch of stuff and then share the link with someone in Google Docs to another person with a Google account, and they can read through all of your stuff and even make changes if you allow them to. That's the amazing thing about Google, is allowing for people to be able to share and collaborate on projects together. So make sure that you keep that in mind for your future creative projects. Maybe Google Docs is perfect for you. Coming up next week, we have got Adobe Spark. We're going to learn how to make a flyer using that program, and I've got to tell you, this one I'm really excited about the potential of. I think that this could be our best looking flyer option available. Who knows? It might be the one that will finally take the crown away from Microsoft Word, but you'll have to find out next week on the Digital Den mini class. Thanks for watching.